Hi, folks. This morning I felt inspired. I was hanging out, I was petting my Japanese dog, I was watching Chuck Norris on Bloodsport, eating a little ramen, and just all those Japanese cultural influences on me. I was like, I've got to do something. So I decided to pull out this old Honda Troy built TB130 with the CV160 on it, and we're going to replace the carburetor. Now, you can go through and actually clean the carburetor. I'll have a separate video on that. But for 18 bucks, I got this whole kit on Amazon. We're going to strap it on real quick and see how she works to make quick work of that. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to pull this carburetor off, throw a new one on there. And if you do want to learn how to actually clean the carburetor, I'm going to do a separate video and we'll throw it down below. So let's go ahead and go to the next step. All right, enough chit chat. Let's go ahead and take this carburetor off. First step, take off the air filter cover. Bam, bam. Wow. Automatic spring actuated. You can see the air filter actually looks pretty good. It's a good time to put a new one. Now down below here, you're gonna have two 10 millimeter bolts. I can never say millimeter on camera. Go ahead and rip them off. I love this freaking DeWalt. I'll put a impact driver tool. Put a link down below for it. But once you take those off, that should be all that's holding that carburetor on there. Now these are kind of pressed in there, so just wiggle waggle it, comes off. Now you're looking at the carburetor setup right there. Pull it off. You're gonna have this behind it. Now when you look at this thing, remember when it goes back on, this part is up. That's a little automatic choke. Goes right there to that thingy. So hang on to that. And next what you're gonna do, pull off the fuel line. Always a good idea to shut off the fuel line before you pull it off. Let's go ahead and pull it off. And then right here, you're gonna have your throttle. So make sure to take a look at it. The inside loop is gonna have your throttle lever. The inside's gonna have the little spring, and then the top one is going to have the actual lever. And that's it. Super easy to pull off. So next we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the new carburetor setup I've got, and we'll throw the new one on there, see how she works. All right, gang, I got this off Amazon for $18, which is absolutely insane. It's a full maintenance kit with a brand new carburetor. It's from this company called Holz. So I don't know. We're going to find out if it works. I'm about 50-50 on Amazon carbs working or not, but it does look exactly the same as the old one I pulled off. One thing to know is you're going to have all your gaskets here. It does have a fuel filter. I guess you can put that on there as optional. I'm not going to mess with it because it didn't come with one stock. Another thing to think, see, you're gonna have this big gasket here, which I thought that was pretty funky, but if you look at what came off, this big old flat gasket actually presses on here. So I guess it's meant to, block the heat or something. It's very, very odd to have just a big gasket with no metal piece to block it. So, all right, so we got all the pieces and we're gonna strap her on and see if she lights up. All right, no action shot yet. Before we strap this new carburetor on, just want a couple of quick notes. First of all, make sure your intake manifold surface is super clean. You see here, I got a little residual gasket on there. We're gonna make sure that's super clean off beforehand. Also, you wanna make sure this thing is getting fuel. Now, this is one of the few push lawnmowers I've seen actually with a fuel shutoff valve. So what you can do, just pour a little fuel down there and just make sure fuel is coming out of here, or you can actually blow on this just to hear the air to make sure there's no blockage there, make sure she's getting fuel. And when you come down to here, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna have to pull this thing off. I can see that gasket is not looking too healthy. So we're gonna pull this off, make sure it's clean, and then I'm gonna put the new gasket on the back of here, but you can see it's gonna be pretty hard to hold it. So what I'm doing, I'm just gonna put a couple of drops of super glue on the back just to hold it straight while we mount it on there. So I'm gonna get all this ready and then we're gonna go ahead and slap her on and see if it works. I give it 50-50. All right, gang, before we install everything, I'm gonna show you a little trick because what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to install this thing inverted like so, like there. But as you can see, it's gonna be really hard to get this gasket to stay on here. So like I said before, I've got a little trick here that I like to do. So it's gonna go like this. I learned this actually on the old YouTube on the Mower Medic. Just a couple of drops of super glue right there. You don't need much because all we're trying to do is hold this sucker in place. See right there, there's a little ledge and we're just gonna slide that on there. Thing about super glue, it really freaking glues, so you gotta be quick. All right, just make sure when you do it that you line up all the lines and little holes. This is the oddest gasket I think I've ever seen in my entire life, as we owe to Mr. Honda for designing it this way. So you can see right there, now we can actually install this sucker like so. Now this is not going to be a simple carburetor install, so I'm going to have to go ahead and get ready and get everything stacked up so we can do the final money shot of me actually installing this thing. All right, now comes the difficult part. We're going to install all these parts at one time. And for Bob, I know you like to see me struggle. We're going to struggle. So the first thing we need to do, before we go ahead and strap on the new carburetor, we want to hook up the linkages. Now look at the little holes. There's going to be two little holes right there. The little spring is going to go on the outside one, and the main one's going to go on the inside one. And all you do, you shove it in there like so. All right, I swear that's how you do it. Well, maybe not. Maybe that one goes on the inside. It really doesn't matter. Just get them in the hole there, folks. Son of a bitch. All right. I think it goes like that. All right, so we got it there. And then you just want to hook your little springy into the outside one. Come on. It would have helped if I installed the spring first. Got that one in there. Got that one in there. All right, so that's how she goes. Now next, we want to go ahead and install your fuel line. And when you install it, make sure the fuel nipple is off to the right. That's how you know you got the sucker on there right. And as you see with the kit, I actually came with a new fuel line that I installed right there. Sorry about the wiggly. All right, so we got that. Now, the way to do this, because you've got your bolts here, they're not studs. So go ahead and make sure you got your intake, your air filter gasket right there on the inside. And then we're just gonna go ahead and start lining it up. And this one here is gonna go like this. Make sure your choke thing goes on this nipple right there. So let's go ahead. Oh man, see, I got super glue all over this thing. I probably should wait because this whole thing's gonna be glued together by the time I do it. But I put a little super glue on that one too, just because that freaking gasket would be impossible to hold. So make sure you got a gasket on the inside and outside of that sucker. Slide that on there. Slide this on here. Try not to wiggle your camera too much. And then, in theory, you should be able to slide this on there. Come on, for camera. And then just kind of wiggle them home. Try to get everything in the hole. Come on, baby. See, I am major struggle bus here. Shoot. All right, so maybe you want to... I got a mess on my hands. All right, so got them in there. Maybe we should install that backing plate before we actually go to the main part of the thingy-mabobber. All right, I think I'm getting close. Come on. And these, I can see these bolts, they've got a little flange thingy right there. All right. I think we've got him. Yep, we got him in the hole, thank God. This is just definitely a weird carburetor. Now, you're gonna go ahead and tighten those up, and one thing I want you to show, you're gonna have a breather tube on the back end of this thing, so just make sure to put that breather tube on that little inlet right there, which I'm not gonna show you that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the bolts, and then we just throw a new air filter on there. Well, fuzzy side is always on the outside, and we're gonna tighten this thing up, and that should be good to go. Fairly simple, a little more complex than a regular Briggs. So we're gonna get the sucker on the ground and see if she lights up, because I'm super excited, because I've never seen this son of a bitch run. Stay with me. All right, we are ready for the money shot. It's sunny and beautiful out here in Texas, and we're gonna test this thing out. Now, just to clarify, all I've done is strap on some parts for the carburetor. I have not burped the fuel system. I have not done anything else. So for a $19 Chinese carburetor, made it up to a Japanese piece of machinery. We're gonna see if they make some babies or not. Here we go. Whoa, works like a champ. As you can see, my dog is highly trained. She is trained to work on lawnmowers just like me. We're gonna have some more videos coming up. So with that, I'm out. I'm gonna go ahead and do a separate video on cleaning the stock carburetor for all you penny pinchers out here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to the exact same carburetor I use below. It has a whole kit with air filter, spark plug, all that good stuff for $19. So it's a fun one. It's kind of dumb, but I'm out. We'll catch you next time.